I'm really into the finger guns these days. I have no idea what's happening. Okay. Hi everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of the Scenic Route. I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to the second iteration of this little video series where we're walking you through the whole album. So today's song is a little number I like to call Dandelion Wine.
I'm watching the sunset on Tennessee hills. I wish I could capture it, I never will. 'Cause I'm not a painter, can't stay in the lines. Just sitting here sipping on dandelion wine.
This song was born really at the beginning of the pandemic, the beginning of the lockdown and quarantine and all that. And the weekend that everything really shut down, a group of friends of mine in Nashville decided that we should go out to this farm. So there was a group of 6 of us who went out to this farm in Tullahoma, Tennessee. The farm belonged to my friend Amelia's family, and it had been in their family for generations, but nobody lived there. It was a lovely place to hide away for a while, honestly. It was right in the middle of the rolling hills of Tennessee. Like, there were a couple of lakes on the property, so we went fishing, and we just let the days kind of pass us by there. And mine is getting a little stir crazy at points. It was really a nice place to hide away for a while everything was so uncertain and up in the air. So I spent a lot of time, there wasn't a lot of internet and very limited Wi-Fi situation. So we really spent a lot of time playing board games and playing cards, and I was reading a lot. I think one of my silver linings of this pandemic and quarantine has been a renewed love of reading. I've always loved books, and I've always loved getting lost in them, but I think the hustle and bustle of daily life kind of led me astray from that. So one of the first books I read when we got out there, Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, and at the end of the book, and I was kind of going through the content that comes at the end of any novel like that, where it's going, you know, titles by other author and details of where it was written and everything. And Ray Bradbury had written another book called Dandelion Wine, and I haven't read that book, but I love that as a song title. I think as a songwriter, we're always looking for moments like that where we could find a title that would work, or you hear somebody talking at a bar and you hear a phrase and you're like, that would make a great song. So that to me was like sparked this like, ooh, dandelion wine, like what does that mean? And then one night I was sitting out on that screened-in porch, like looking out at the Tennessee hills and just thinking about how there were worse places to be stuck, for sure. And the song Dandelion Wine kind of came to life out there. Truly, there was like a porch swing to my right, and there was the hills to my left, and the song just kind of came.
It's starting to rain, but I don't feel a thing. Just sitting out rocking on that old porch swing. 'Cause I found me something that tastes like springtime. Just sitting here sipping on dandelion wine.
Sometimes you start writing a song and you don't know what it means until it's over. And for this one, I think the Dandelion Wine kind of became my version of rose-colored glasses. There was so much out of our control this past year of 2020. So much that was overwhelming, but really that we had to go with the flow with, and we think it was a big lesson for all of us. So it's like, okay, you're at this farmhouse, you can't work, you can't tour, you can't do a lot of things that you were used to doing in your daily life, but what can you do out here? You can breathe, and you can read, and you can take in nature, and you can write songs, and I just was leaning into that for a good while, and that seemed to help. So That's where Dandelion Wine was born. And I brought it to my friend Nick, who's also my producer, for this whole record, and I really thought he wasn't gonna like it for the album because it was another slow song, and I already had a couple of ballads on the album. But he heard it and he's like, he loved it, and he's like, I've got an idea for it. And I was like, what's the idea? And he just took the song as it stood and brought it to this cool, like faster, upbeat, like folk anthemic thing, and I really love what it's become. It just came to life in a way that I did not expect, and that's a really fun part of working with a producer that you trust and that you love their style, and when you love what they're doing, it can really bring a song to a different place. Oh, another fun part of the studio process with Nick was he told me I need another verse, and I didn't think I needed another verse, but I was like, okay, like I'll try, I'll see if there's anything else there for me to uncover. And I was sitting on it for probably a month after he said that, and we had the structure of the song laid out, and he's like, I still think you need this other verse here. And then fast forward a month, and I was having a weekly movie night with my roommates in Nashville. We'd put the projector up in the living room and just try and, we're making the most out of quarantine. And we were watching the movie Signs. And I love that movie. I forgot that I love that movie because there's such a good lesson in it. The fact that everything happens for a reason, and that all of these moves that we make, like somehow they're all important and they all mean something, which I just adore that concept. And so I woke up the next morning after watching Signs, and that verse fell into my head.
Preachers and dreamers, they both believe in the patterns and powers that we can't quite see. You can spend your life guessing or look for the signs. Sit back and sip on that dandelion wine.
My life guessing or look for the signs was very much based on that movie with Mel Gibson. So yeah, you never know where the inspiration's gonna come from. That's for darn sure. So again, thank you for being here, and cheers. I hope that you have a glass of dandelion wine wherever you are. This is coffee. This is not dandelion wine. Okay, friends, you'll get the full song this Friday, and I will see you next week for a conversation with my friend Trace. He wrote the next song on the record with me, so I'm excited to have him on board, and we're going to talk songwriting and touring and how the next song came to life as well. So stay tuned. Love you guys. Thank you so much for being here.
And all my life I've known some things you can't control. You can make plans, but they'll change most of the time. So pour me one more glass of that